And welcome to Mike Ferry TV, the week of June 28th. And I wrote on the top of my notes for today, if you're attending the Superstar Retreat, which is July 13 through 16, we want to say thank you. It's going to be a great retreat. It's been now, 17, 18 months since we've done a live event of any substance. So we're excited for those that are going to be there. If you're not going to attend, I want to share with you what you're going to miss, and maybe you should consider coming to the retreat in July in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Venetian Palazzo Hotel. And don't forget, if you are attending, the bonus day is on Monday the 12th from 1 to 4. I have 4 great speakers lined up. And the good news is we'll have 4 separate rooms. You can sit in one seat. The speakers will rotate so you're not running around. So here's what I'm going to cover. And these are very interesting because these are a little away from what my thought process has been in the past. First, 12 thoughts regarding finding buyers and sellers, not prospecting techniques, because I know that everybody hates to prospect, but I want to give you a couple of examples of the 12. For example, purchasing leads off the internet and how to make that work more effectively. Example, branding and marketing. If you're going to spend the money, how do we get the best response? 12 thoughts on finding buyers and sellers. Number 2, 10, you're going to love this, 10 different ways to actually purchase leads. Everybody's doing it, whether it be referral fees or referral companies, and or just buying directly off the internet. Let's have a conversation about what they are and what kind of results you can expect. I told somebody about this topic and they said, I'm sorry, I thought Mike Ferry was speaking. Well, that old guy is trying to make sure that you are doing everything it takes to be more successful. Number 3, the topic is what I've learned from and throughout the pandemic. It's been a very interesting for all of us, and I know everybody thinks it was just them only, and difficult, challenging, exciting, productive time. And we know, you and I, that the real estate industry led at least the U.S. economy, and probably the same in our friends from Canada, throughout this pandemic in keeping the economy stimulated. So I'm going to go over 30 points on this particular topic of what I've learned. Example, the highest levels of production during the pandemic came from agents' databases. Way back in March of 2020, the first thing I said when our government closed down the country, call your database, call your database, call your database. And of course, March to April to May to June to July of 2020, I kept saying, keep those conversations going because it is a topic on everybody's mind. And remember that more people would answer their phone during the pandemic than normally they would because, being home isolated, you wanted somebody to talk to, etc. So here's a couple examples from what I've learned. The highest levels of production came from the database, period. Another example of what I've learned is straightforward conversations become much more important. Straightforward conversations with buyers, sellers, prospect, your database versus all these things about you got to learn to text, you got to learn to send a video out, you got to send out emails. And let's be honest, I'm not trying to hold back on you here, but most people probably shouldn't do videos, whether it be their presentation or looking the camera in the eye or understanding how to make it work. The next thing I'm going to cover, which is, I think, vitally important, the 30 most important skills we either have to review, renew, or learn to maintain a competitive edge. I think we've talked about this several times in the last few weeks. The competitive edge is critically important today, and that comes from knowing what to say, how to respond, how to be interactive, how to ask questions, how to learn to listen, respond to the questions your prospects and customers ask. And that competitive edge is more important than ever because the number of agents succeeding at a high level, probably the smallest I've seen in the 46 plus years I've been doing this. A couple of examples of skills. The skill of converting leads to appointments faster. The speed and efficiency of getting a lead is, of course, important, but the speed of conversion is even more important. Or an example, the skill of defeating some of the many distractions that we've all experienced and we're still having. Whether it be the day-to-day distractions if you're going to your office or the day-to-day distractions of trying to work out of your home. And then number 5, and probably the most important topic that I will cover, the mindset of a top producer and how it affects individuals' productivity. What's going on here affects what come out of here. It affects the activities. It affects the productivity. It affects everything we do. And this has been one of the toughest times. I think this was tougher to deal with during 2021 than even the Great Recession of 2008-9 through 2012, because we really understood the Great Recession. It was an economic problem, not only in the U.S. and Canada, but worldwide. Well, this is a whole different kind of problem, because this home isolation, which most of us experienced, had, in many times, a very interesting effect on how we think. So an example of mindset. It's never too late to start a strong production cycle. It's never too late. If you start this week, within 90 days, you're going to be back in the rhythm of listing and selling homes. Example, we have to become mentally stronger regarding our schedule. You know, the number one problem in real estate and for agents like ourselves, and this has been going on since I got into the business at age 18, is scheduling. It's not so much getting a schedule, but it's following it and making sure that that schedule and the activities are highly productive and lead you to the goals you've set. And this is the big one that we're going to cover at the retreat. I've asked 25 very successful agents, and I'm not talking about people that just have a big mega team. I'm talking about agents that are doing, 50, 75, 100, 200 transactions a year. And yes, some of them have a team on top of that production. And what I've asked them to do, and we started this about 7, 8 years ago with Valerie Caro and Tony Smith, when I asked them to write out 5, 7, 10 steps they've taken to build their career. And I called it a blueprint, because I think all of us recognize that it's impossible to build something without having a plan. And that plan in the construction of a business is called a blueprint. If you ever go to a construction site, there'll be a stack of papers this wide and this long, and that should say this wide and this long and this steep. And you'll see the contractor, the builders flipping through, looking at all the steps that lead them to the end result. Well, it's a blueprint. So I've asked 25 of the really good agents that really understand how to build a business to describe for me step by step. And not only are we going to have probably 6 or 7 of them on the stage describing their blueprint to you, which is, by the way, this is a priceless part of the retreat, because we'll do it probably at least once on Tuesday, twice on Wednesday, twice on Thursday, and once on Friday. Have them on the stage going through the steps they take. And then Friday, we're going to give everybody in attendance the stack copied, stapled, of all 25 blueprints. It's priceless. So what does it cost to attend the retreat? Well, it depends on where you're coming from, because obviously a lot of our friends in Canada have got some good news over the last 5 or 6 days about their opportunities to come across the border and get back without home isolation. We have some coming even though they know they have to be isolated because they want the experience. But we probably have 300 to 350 Canadians that are still in a question mark, and we understand that. We lost probably 80 to 100 of our Italian clients because the borders are closed. And we understand that. So we know that it's a challenge. So depending on where you're coming from, obviously the East Coast is a little more expensive than driving from Southern California. But the premier clients pay a grand total of $0 to attend in terms of a ticket cost. Our one-on-one clients pay $195. Our elite brokers agents, if your broker is part of our elite program, you pay $195. And I want to make this very clear. This week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if you register for the retreat, instead of paying $395, our MFTV viewers will pay $295. And no, we're not going to give you a refund if you've already bought a ticket, because things go on sale. And guess what? We're doing a sale. Register, call 1-800-448-0647. 1-800-448-0647. You know, it's an interesting time for all of us because it appears in most of, at least the U.S., and I think most of Canada and other parts of the world, this pandemic is now getting further and further away from us, which is great news for the health and mental wellness of everybody. But it also means we have to get back to work. It also means we have to start doing our job again. It means we have to start to participate. One of the biggest challenges that I faced is trying to convince a lot of the brokers that we coach to get their offices open and to participate and to start having small meetings and inviting people back and getting everybody re-engaged in the business, because that's really what it's all about. You know, this 10%, which is controlling the majority of the business, have been re-engaged really since probably June of 2020. Let's get you re-engaged. And whether you attend the retreat or not, I would of course like it if you did. But if you don't attend, get re-engaged. Get yourself back into the business. Get back to doing the job that you can do, knowing that some of the disappointments you've experienced are in the past. And it's very difficult to have a great day today or see the future if you're focusing on the past. Remember, the rear view mirror on your car is very small, but the window in front of it is very big. Keep looking to the future because it's there for you. I'll look forward to talking to you next week. Call the office, get registered, and we'll talk to you next Monday. Thanks for today.